26, where you're watching us on Valley Homes on TV. You can see us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. Welcome, Todd.
Hi, Debbie. How you doing?
And Todd Flesner is also here to co-host. We've been doing this for many, many years and tag teaming about Milpitas and talking about businesses and products and things that make Milpitas great.
Exactly, and things about the community, but also that relate to the real estate field, and kind of have a combination of that today. We have a local Milpitian with us.
Nice.
And he also works in a field that folks who own homes or buying homes might be interested in. So
Perfect.
I brought along a friend of mine, Cully Christianson, and Cully is with Coastal Termite, and so he's a bug man. We brought the expert here, and so
Nice.
we get a good chance to talk with Cully, get to know a little bit about him and what his company does. So,
Great.
Welcome, Cully.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good to
Well,
be here.
I get to start out. So tell us about where you grew up, maybe where you were educated, and what brought you to Milpitas.
Well, that's pretty easy since that's where I started. I went to school all through Milpitas, started at Zanker, Russell, and Milpitas High, and got out of school and just worked a couple of jobs, ended up getting into photography, and moved down to Southern California. Lived there for about a year and a half, 2 years, got married, came back up. I bought a pool business, and did that for about 4 or 5 years, and realized that I probably am a little immature to have my own business yet. I just didn't have a good mentor to guide me through that process. So I sold that, and I ended up shortly thereafter getting into pest control in 1995.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, good. And so you talked a little bit about some of your path there, but what is it that really has attracted you to the pest control business? What is it that keeps you involved there?
Well, to start off, I was just looking for something that would pay the bills.
Uh-huh.
And I had a friend who used to do pest control when he came home from college. He would work it as a summer job. And so I started working with him at a company up in Hayward, and I got my basic license, started applying, doing the job, and realized I really enjoyed it. I think there's an aspect of pest control where the little boy in you hasn't grown up yet, and you like chasing the bugs around. And one of the things that I really liked about it was just it was always different. It was always challenging. There's an aspect of where the hunt is always on, and so. And then, of course, the people. You're always dealing with different people, and you're solving their problems. One of my big, motivation is bringing peace of mind. I like having peace of mind myself, and I like bringing people peace of mind. And where it's your home, and it's usually your biggest investment you've ever made,
Right.
Peace of mind is pretty important.
Okay, so let's break it down. So you're with Coastal Termite, and what exactly do you do? So kind of in a nutshell, what is it that you do or control various bugs or the aspects of that industry?
Well, I do, in California, the industry's split. You have a license for termite control, wood-destroying organisms, and then you have another license that does what I do, which is general pests, and then you have a whole different license that does fumigation, and that's all they do is the fumigation. So mine is the general pest, which covers ants and spiders, pretty much all your crawling insects, and then, of course, your rodents and birds and stuff like that. So one of the things I like about that is I get bored easy, and I'm always, every job's a different job. I could go from taking care of ants at one job to doing roaches at another to doing rodents at another. And so you're always, got to have your mind open and watching for, the different things that are going to come up.
Good. So now, you live and work here in the Milpitas area. What are some common issues or problems that folks here in this area might encounter when it comes to bugs?
Well, this year is a little different with the drought. We've got some real issues with wasps.
Oh, I do. My backyard.
And the Oriental roaches have always been an issue in Milpitas, but they're worse this year than usual. And that really started probably 30 years ago, the county stopped treating the sewer system and the storm system, and the roaches have just been coming out of that drain. So when you treat the yards, you get rid of them, they just come back, you know. And ants haven't been too bad this year, and spiders have been a little bit, but it's more been the wasps and the roaches.
So now, it sounds like that changes from year to year.
It can, definitely.
Okay.
You know,
So a person, you need, how do you gain expertise in that area? What makes your level of experience different than maybe in other companies?
well, I think that I haven't read this book specifically, but a gentleman named Malcolm Gladwell wrote one of the books he wrote. He talked about 10,000 hours to become a master at anything. I've been doing this for 20 years, so I think I got my 10,000 hours in a few years ago.
You are a master of the house. Okay.
So
Sold me.
I have forgotten a lot. I realize sometimes when I'm talking to customers and they want details on a certain insect, I'm like, I got to look that up again. But there's not a lot I haven't seen, but at the same time, I always am realizing that, one, I can always learn from my customers, because they're always going to know their house better than I do because they're there more than I am. As well as they might have, had experience with something I've just happened to have never seen. That I found has been very helpful. And then just because I do it so often, I've done a lot of training. I used to work for a large company, and I did all the training every week. So I set up the PowerPoint presentations. I had to do all the detailed research.
Wow.
And that was really, I learned more than anybody else did. And I think that's really what, in a sense, it sets me apart in a certain degree. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to be better than I am. But I really noticed, you never know, but I really noticed I learned a lot more, and I'll run into guys on a regular basis, and I'm able to teach them things. And I know a lot of it's because of that.
Oh, good. So maybe talk a little bit about Coastal Termite. You're, maybe not one of those big national name brand companies, but what is it that makes Coastal Termite special or unique?
Well, one of the things that I like about this is this company was started by a buddy of mine who I used to work with at a large company. And nothing wrong with that company. We just didn't fit as well. And he went out and started his own business. And he'd been going for, I don't know, maybe 5 years. And I was able to come in, and I've been able to help him grow his pest control department, because that's not his forte. His forte is the termite department. And so one of the things that I really like that we do different is that we pay our guys an hourly wage. And the thing that's, to me, is important is a lot of companies pay based upon how much work the guy does and how much dollars he produces, which is nice for the guy, but the tendency is for guys then to start cutting corners so they make more money and not spend as much time on the job. So I pay my guys an hourly wage so that they will spend as much time on each individual job as needs to be spent.
Okay. Right.
Good.
So what kind of questions should homeowners be asking regarding pest control? What type of things?
Well, the first two things that I would always check is, one, make sure the guy who's going to be at your house is licensed. You can get online to the Structural Pest Control Board's website. You can put in their name, and you can find their license. You can find if they've got a license and if it's in good standing. The other thing is I would even ask them, how many jobs do you average every day?
Okay.
Because if they're averaging anything over 15 jobs a day, in my opinion, they don't have a lot of time to meet your needs.
Okay.
If it's a big company that's got really tight routes, 15 jobs is about a half-hour job, per house or per location. So they can do okay, as long as they don't run into too many problems during the day. But when you're in a hot spell like we got right now, and you're in a drought, you're going to run into more problems. And if you don't have time to solve them, your customer's going to be stuck.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and yeah.
And actually, we ran across that in our industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Where Todd does loans and I real estate broker, and so we you watch for people that overextend themselves, that don't have time to deal with their
Right.
customers on an individual basis. So, yeah,
Exactly.
good.
So you guys make sure you pay the individual attention that each
Right.
client, each customer needs. Now, do you customize what you do for your clients, or do you have a pretty much a standard sort of operating
That's a good
procedure?
question.
I have both. One of the main tenets of pest control is inspection. Every job I do an inspection on. And I either do that during my treatment or like with the residents. I'm for regular customers, we always do the webbing. They like us to take down spider webs. And so while I'm taking the spider webs down, I'm actually doing my inspection while I do that, so that I'm catching things that maybe the homeowner didn't know about. I always go to the door first. I ask the homeowner if they're home, if there's any things I need to be paying attention to, things like that. Those are the kind of things that you're making sure that you're staying on top of stuff. So inspection is really important.
So, challenges. You must have a few in your industry or your business. You want to share us what the challenges are?
Lately, I would say the biggest challenge is misinformation. I remember I was listening to a speaker one time, and he was making comment about, well, it was on the internet, it has to be true.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys run into that too, right? And so you get a lot of that where people don't know what websites are trustworthy.
Okay.
And so I'm constantly trying to help them with different websites that will give them good information. And I don't know about the ones that don't. I don't spend any time, looking at those. But as well as just providing them proper information myself. A lot of times I will just email them the articles that they need. That way they know what's good information because it's coming right from my sources. The UC website has a whole what's called Cal IPM or CA IPM, IPM being Integrated Pest Management, and that site's a really good site. They can get all kinds of information about all kinds of different insects, and it's all based upon the research that the college kids are doing. And it doesn't tend to be very biased, which is nice. There's another one called buginfo.com, which is from one of our suppliers, and that's also another good homeowner website that'll give them basic information. Nothing too detailed, but good stuff.
Okay. Good. So now the treatments that you use, those are industry standards, or there, do different companies use different sorts of treatments or different sort of chemicals, or?
I think the biggest thing is everybody's got little different preferences. The materials all have labels on them, and you just have to follow the label. The label's the law. So depending upon what material happens to be something that somebody likes, they're going to follow that. We use a lot of the environmentally friendly products. They've got a whole line of products that are literally they don't have to be registered with the EPA, and because they're food grade materials. They're already classified by the government that these can be used in food preparation, and so they've started using those for insecticides. So we use a lot of that for our maintenance protocols. And then when we have problem issues, then we step in for a spot treatment. And we just use that like for your wasps. If I need, actually, one of my favorite materials is that eco material because you get very quick knockdown with it. Your only disadvantage is you don't get a lot of residual with it. So I'll usually mix that with something that's going to give me a longer lasting effect so they don't just come right back. Because some of your wasps are out foraging for food. You take care of the nest, you knock it down, and then those wasps come back and they build a new nest in a couple of days right where the old nest was. So if you don't put a residual material down, then you haven't really solved your problem. So things like that.
So what are some of the rewards from your business? You are a people person, I can tell. And
Absolutely.
I can tell you probably have a lot of compassion for people and do want to help, and I'm sure that's a big part of your business.
Yeah, I think I alluded to it before, is bringing people peace of mind. There's
Nice.
I've got a client right now, they have no idea what's biting their daughter. And there's no evidence of any insects, there's no evidence of other things. So we put some monitors in, and obviously my goal is to figure out, okay, what do we have here, And my goal is to bring them peace of mind, and so I'll feel really good once I've solved that problem. I already think I know what the issue is, but I need to know for sure. And because I don't want to just do a treatment, because if I don't do the right treatment, it's not going to solve the problem, So those are some really satisfying things when you've been able to go in. And I had one lady one time, I felt awful for her. She literally had a whole huge family of rodents living in her house. And every night she would watch all the adults and babies come out and just run around on her back patio. So I was able to come in, and within a couple of weeks we had all of that cleaned up. She's got little kids, and it was just one of those things. She didn't know what to do, and she didn't have the skills to deal with it, and she really didn't have the budget to call me, but she didn't have a choice, So we were able to satisfy her, get her problem solved, and protect those kids from the rodents and whatnot.
Well, good. How about company goals? What is it that you guys are hoping to do here as you look down the road?
Well, we've come from the big company setting, so really we want to be able to, just honestly, we want to be able to grow at a steady rate, be able to provide good jobs for people who are tired of the pressure of a big company, because there's always that pressure, and enjoy the job. And but one of the things we want to do, and actually this is kind of a company goal as well as a personal goal, my wife and I would like to move down to the Pismo Beach area. And I want to either open up my own company, or we want to open a branch for coastal termite and pest control down there. So we haven't decided how we're going to work that out, but that's the goal for the next 5 years.
Very nice. Would you like to give folks your contact information, website or email?
Absolutely. You can get a hold of us at coastaltermite.com, as accessible. My number is 408-464-1323. That's my cell phone, which is fine. I give that to all my customers, and we'd be more than happy to help anybody out with their needs.
Good. You got bugs. Now you know Cully. He's the man to call.
Absolutely, and local too.
That's right.
Good luck with your business, and thank you for taking time
Appreciate
out today
you guys
to
having
share
me
with us.
on.
The following is a public service announcement test to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before you head out on the water. Let us begin. Are you a pelican? Does this look like your house? Is this your idea of fishing with friends? Do you use your feet as fishing hooks? Are you your own boat? Do you have webbed feet? No, I mean like a... That's the one. Do you want this in your favorite lake? Yuck, yike. No thanks, mister. Regardless how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered, because it helps local conservation efforts protect the very natural resources you enjoy boating and fishing in for generations to come. Do your part at takemefishing.org.
Lazy bones, loafing through the day, you always seem to find the easy way, moving like you're rolling away. Never heard a word I say.
All over America, entire families are backsliding. We're no longer just sedentary, we're stationary, and that's bad news for your bones. At any age, bones need weight-bearing activity to grow strong and stay strong. So go outside, take the steps, play with the dog. Just get up, get out, get moving.
Never keep your bones that way. Never heard a word I say.
A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
We served our country like those before us.
The camaraderie is what kept me going. You know, it was a dangerous area. All of Vietnam was dangerous.
I didn't know what to expect when I got back. For the first 10 years after I got out, no one would have known that I was in the service.
I got home, got married 2 weeks later, got a job.
We came back, built lives, families, and communities, but we still had challenges.
The carnage of war left an indelible mark on me.
I would have intrusive thoughts. They're horrible nightmares.
Services and support that can help are available for veterans.
I went to the VA, talked to my doctor.
I started doing groups. I started doing one-on-one counseling.
We found ways to move past these challenges for ourselves and for our families. At MakeTheConnection.net, you can hear our stories and find tools and services available to you.
The more I talk to people, family, friends, other vets, the better I feel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Valley Homes on TV with Debbie and Giordano and myself, Todd Flesner. We're glad you've joined us. We're here for our monthly wrap-up.
It's the month of July.
Exactly. And
weather's been nice and hot, and I got to tell you, the market has been hot. I want to share with you some headlines. This is out of the Real Estate magazine, reflecting on this crazy housing market. They talk about the latest numbers are in, and it probably won't come as a shock to learn the housing market is as hot as ever. And San Jose Mercury, just last week, housing costs continue to surge. Even well-paid tech and science workers feel impact, data shows. Less than 25% of workers and just 40% of households in San Jose are able to rent or buy an average price home. The affordability has just plummeted.
Yeah, things have really changed over the last year or two here in terms of the real estate market, and for folks looking either to get into the market or relocating here, they're finding that this is not an inexpensive place to live.
No, not at all. And I don't see any end in sight. First, talk about another article. It says no housing bubble in sight. And this is put out by Lawrence Young. He's the NAR chief economist. And he says, statistically speaking, housing is on a roll. Year-to-date sales are up 6.3%, but affordability and wages have only gone up 2%. So as the affordability drops and wages don't catch up, we're going to see some problems. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong in what you're seeing too, but our area is still a little insulated, a little more unique than what's going on in the country. You
Absolutely.
have a lot of the high-tech workers that get stock options, and they're able to jump in, and I think they're pressing the prices forward a little bit more.
Well, absolutely. We are a unique area with a unique sort of set of circumstances. Our economic engine here with employment is strong. Our businesses are strong, and more folks are coming into this area to work, which really increases that demand. Folks who work for companies who provide stock options, they're able to exercise those and being able to use that as a vehicle or leverage to be able to get into property.
What are you seeing with the first-time home buyer? What are their down payments, Todd?
Well, it's across the board. What I'm finding actually is having a good, skilled real estate agent as a part of your team and a good, strong financing package as a part of that is really, really important. I've done a VA loan here in the last 6 months with zero down payment, $600,000 first-time home buyer. I've done several FHA loans. Again, about $650,000. You can get into a $650,000 home with 3.5% down payment. Now, again, you have to keep in mind you're competing against some of these other offers, and so you have to have a skilled real estate agent with a good reputation to represent that offer to the sellers, so that they know that they can count on the fact that that loan is going to close. And that's where that reputation becomes critical to who it is you're working with in the industry.
Right, I agree. So, talking about loans, so what's the general loan industry look like in interest rates? I know we've had a crazy stock market.
Yes, we have.
It's been a roller coaster.
It has been a little bit of a roller coaster. We've talked on the show a number of times about, it really is a global economy, and there's a give and take tug-of-war for where investment dollars go. And we've actually just had the Fed meet today as we're taping, and they've indicated no change in the current interest rate policy.
That doesn't surprise me. Does it surprise you? Or?
No. Things have impacted that here recently have been China. We've seen the stock market in China, Greece as well. And some of those uncertainties have created a flight to quality, bond market, safety, and again, that helps to keep interest rates low. So heading into the first part of the summer, we saw interest rates tick up about 0.25% or so. They've kind of backed down off of that now here.
Right.
So historically, we're still great. We're right around 4% for a 30-year fixed rate loan.
Amazing.
And so, again, there are all sorts of low down payment options that are available for folks who may not have the access to those stock options. So we can help folks there. Jumbo financing for the people who need that, who are looking to get into.
Is that rate much higher for jumbo?
Actually, you know what? Jumbo loan financing right now is actually a little bit lower than the conforming or conventional rates. Now, there are some additional requirements that you need to meet to be able to get that financing. It's 20% down. You have to have outstanding credit, and you have to have reserves. That means you have to have extra money in the bank after you close as a backup. But if you can do that, jumbo financing right now is very, very attractive.
Good. Want to hear some numbers?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Let's look at Milpitas. Back in June of 2014, a year ago, we had $727,000 as the average sales price for a single-family home. Medium sales price was $718,000, and that's jumped. Let me give you the number today. You are not going to believe this. Average price $963,000.
Oh my goodness.
Median price $875,000. I mean, just off the chart. And then condos or townhomes, which are attached units. The average price was $575,000, median price $572,000 a year ago, and that's jumped now to $609,000 average price and $640 median. So not quite the jump that we saw in single family.
But there's your supply and demand right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are you seeing right now in terms of supply of homes on the market to sell?
Well, was it yesterday or day before when I did an MLS search in Milpitas? There are 32 homes, 32 single-family homes on the market. That's typically low.
Okay.
So it's been, though, fairly consistent, I would say, year over year. So we've had low inventory floating around those numbers.
Okay.
But I would say a good moderate inventory would be around 60 to 70 homes. So we're about half of what we typically would have this time of year.
Okay. And I'm still hearing from folks that multiple offers are the norm.
Yep, I would say so. I've got some open houses this weekend, so we shall see.
We will find out.
We will find out, and we'll report that in when we get the information. So.
Terrific. Well, thanks for the update on what's happening here locally with our market.
And Milpitas is still a very exciting place to be in, I tell you.
Absolutely. Great place to live and to work. So.
Thanks, Todd. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Terrific. Thanks a lot.